You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind.
With the emergence of global internet, a human population of several billions, an electronic noosphere, that we are now within the shadow of this transcendental object at the end of time.
I find it a little difficult to say what the subject matter is going to be, because
Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace.
Shake and bake, steps back, three-pointer, bang!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very refreshing episode of the Midnight Variety Hour. I'm your host, Tom, joined as always by my good friend and co-host,
Your boy Adam.
my boy Adam, y'all's boy Adam. We are, I think we're feeling pretty good today because it feels amazing outside. Drove to work with the windows down. It's like fall has finally hit. I think it was like in the, high 50s, low 60s this morning and super windy. Like it's crazy windy.
Yeah, yesterday the wind was hurricane level type wind. Trees were getting knocked down. You walked into the street, there's branches and leaves everywhere. Looks
Someone
crazy.
said this is that wind that SpongeBob and Squidward tried to deliver that pizza in. And I was like, damn, pretty accurate. But yeah, man, how have you been? How have you been feeling? Are you doing well?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Feeling creative, inspired. The past few days have been interesting for me. I have a lot going on with work and just new projects, and so I'm feeling like motivated to get things done in a creative and interesting way. And I just did an album review last night with Marcus for his podcast. And I guess it's a collab.
Yeah.
I'm a part of this podcast. He's part of that one. We've both had each other on multiple times.
And
so.
you guys did it up here?
Yeah,
in
we
the
ended
studio?
up doing it up here because we were able to use the headphones and listen to the album at the same time. We're doing
Right.
live reaction kind of review of it, which is really interesting. We did this artist Little Sims. Have you heard of her?
Little Sims.
Little Sims, not a Lil, but
Little Sims.
And she's from London, so in a UK accent it sounds really cool. Little Sims.
Is she like a grime rapper?
No, she's she's more of like a conscious hip hop artist.
Okay.
I guess is the best way. It's hard to put her in a
Huh.
box because she had so many different flows and beats and things she was going over. It was really interesting. So that was cool. It was fun.
It's weird because right now I don't really stay up on hip hop too
I
much.
don't either.
Unless it's very certain artists that
Yeah.
obviously if a new Kanye album drops, I know about it and I
Or
listen
Kendrick
to it. Or
or Cole.
Drake or sure, J. Cole. But there's a lot of hip hop artists that other than the core people that everyone listens to the second they drop, I don't really pay attention to what's coming out.
Me either.
So I was going to ask you about that show and did you hear anything that was, or did you and Marcus listen to anything that you think is really worthwhile listening to?
Yeah,
Is
dude, she's the
Little
truth, bro.
Sims? She's the truth.
She's the truth.
Okay.
She's legit one of those artists that you can listen to one of her songs and immediately go, she's extremely talented.
Okay.
And then her versatility, when an artist can just go over any beat, it
Right.
doesn't matter, sad, happy, upbeat,
Fucking
low
boom bap
beat,
beat. Yeah.
anything, and she was just flowing over it easy. And it was
Nice.
just, she's actually Nigerian too, which is really cool.
Oh,
so
shit.
really interesting artist, and
Okay.
she killed it. The album's really awesome. It's called Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. So it's a really interesting album, really cool. So
Because I need new music, man. 'Cause,
definitely check it out, bro.
So I use Spotify and all the songs that I like, I just put them in my liked songs. And whenever I get in the car, all I do is just shuffle my fucking liked songs. And it's
Yeah.
there's 1,000 songs on there.
Yeah.
But if you listen to that same shit every fucking day, those 1,000 songs start to feel like
Yeah.
20 songs. And I just
Yeah.
feel like I'm listening to the same shit over and over.
Yeah.
So I'll either do that or a podcast.
So what I just did, so I'm referencing live from Mars podcast. That's Marcus and his podcast. If anyone wants to check that out or listen to that album review. But in order to do it, we were I just looked up, best new hip hop albums out right now. You know what I mean? I was just looking through all the new hip hop albums, and I found quite a few that looked really interesting. And I was like, damn, I didn't know this one. Madlib
Right.
has a new album out. Random
What?
people, because I guess now it's there's the promotion isn't as much. I guess before we were always hearing about new stuff
Right.
through like either like BET or
Right.
and like whatever, like we would get
Yeah,
our
yeah.
music sources. But I feel like there's no like good music like news
Yeah.
anymore. You know what I mean? Like
I was like regularly checking Dat Piff.
Yeah.
To like see whose mixtape had come out.
yeah, I
and
guess
shit.
now you just don't really do. I mean, there's Spotify has some cool like new music Friday type stuff. Like
yeah,
that,
especially or like if it knows you like a certain artist,
Right.
it'll pop up and be
Yeah,
like, oh, you know,
exactly.
new drop from whoever.
But there's a lot of new music that I had no ideas out. And
Mad
so,
Lib. That's
yeah, so
crazy.
there's a lot of cool stuff out. Wale has a new album.
Big Sean just dropped a new album yesterday. I
Oh,
think,
so I
or
didn't even know
today,
that.
at
Yeah.
midnight or whatever.
Cool.
I don't know if I really listened to Big Sean like that. Like maybe more in high school I did, but
I liked
do
his
you like
newest
Big
album. Yeah, I liked his newest album a lot.
Sean Don.
Yeah, he's really matured into like a really cool artist.
Yeah. Is he still with Janae Aiko?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Good for him.
And they actually just started doing MTV Cribs back, and he did.
They did?
He did his house. Yeah.
Oh, was it crazy?
I mean, it's kind of. I mean, it was definitely cool. It was Slash's old house.
What?
Yeah, and so in the basement, like Slash had like a club, like all blacked
the
out, like
fuck?
club room, and has like stripper poles in it. Yeah.
Was
and
it
has
in
like,
LA? Because I
I'm
think
not
they're
sure, I
both from
forget.
Detroit. I think Slash is from. I could be wrong.
I honestly don't remember where it was.
Because I
at.
think they're both from Detroit, and I know
Yeah.
Big Sean is like a huge, huge Detroit
Oh, yeah,
guy.
for
So I
sure.
didn't know if like maybe he still lived in. Who wants to live in Detroit though? Like
Yeah.
I guess if it's where you're from, but okay, damn, I didn't know MTV Cribs was back.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're back.
Slash, that's crazy. Remember, like, did you watch MTV Cribs in its heyday?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so wild. Like, here's what's in my fridge, and it would just be like rows of like vitamin water, just like the weirdest shit.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, like, did they do that for the show, or did they, did they just always have vitamin water in their fridge, or like
I mean, they know they're
bottles of
coming over.
Perrier? I know, but still,
So-
it's like, I don't know. So I'm trying to think who's like was the weirdest house that I saw. Houses now are so crazy though. Like Rick Ross literally lives in a mansion. I saw this video of him talking about his house. I think his house has 109 rooms. It's like a palace. Oh, I don't know if you saw Coming to America
Stop.
too. But they like needed a house to film like the palace scenes. They used Rick Ross's fucking house because his house is like a palace.
That's
But they're
stupid.
asking him about the house, and he's lived there for years. But they asked him, they're like, what's your favorite room in the house, or what's your favorite thing to do in the house? And he's like, I'm still trying to figure it all out. There's new spaces I still haven't really explored. He was like, me and the homies, we used to bowl a lot in the house. I got a bowling alley, so we used to do the bowling a lot. But now we're trying to get more into the, the game room with the pool table. And like, he's like, yeah, we used to do this, but now we do this. But we still haven't even checked out these other rooms. He's like, he literally said, there's just still so much of this house I haven't explored yet. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? You literally live in a space in which you have not only do you not occupy all that space, but you don't even like fucking venture over there from time to time. He's lived there for years, and he's like, I'm still learning the house.
Dude, literally an entire village
I know.
could live in that house.
I know.
A village of humans could live in there, bro. And he would never know they're there.
No.
Like he could, like 50
thought about
rooms
that.
could be taken
As
up,
a-
and he wouldn't even know they're there.
As a security thing, I thought about that. The fact that like you could break into his house, and I mean, obviously he might have perimeter security, but you could be in like a couple rooms of the house, and he would never know you
You'd
were
never
there.
know.
That's
Never know.
crazy.
Yeah.
What does he need all that space for?
To say he has it.
I guess.
How many rooms is in your house? 109.
I know. How many of those rooms are bedrooms, do you think? 30, 40? You think it's like a 40-bedroom house?
They must be all vacant. They must just be empty rooms.
Yeah, man. There's no way he has furniture in all of them, right?
No, impossible.
Unless he just paid a... Do you think when you have a house that big, you just pay a furnishing company?
Yeah, so what does he have? 100 couches,
Yeah, I
200
know.
pillows, come on, it's
The
just
fuck?
stupid.
Does he have art in all the... Does he have like stuff hanging on the wall? And it's
Yeah.
just pictures of him, like...
It's got to be empty rooms.
It's such a flex, but it's also so stupid.
Yeah.
I could never imagine. I would much rather have a smaller house on a huge piece of land than have a 109 colossal monstrosity.
Yeah, and then imagine if it was haunted.
Oh shit.
Like, we don't go to that back room over there.
Yeah, we just cordon the ghost off to the west wing, and
Remember
he doesn't bother us.
Talladega Nights, whenever
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ricky Bobby thought his house was haunted? Or no, was
No,
it
Cal
was it
calls
Cal
Ricky.
thought-
He's like,
Yeah,
"Hey, man,
your
what-
house is on.
your house always make this sound," you know? Because he's like, if y'all haven't seen the movie, watch it. His best friend, Will Ferrell's character's best friend, moves into his house after marrying his wife after Ricky Bobby gets injured, and he's like calling him. He originally calls him to like
Just to talk.
No. He wants to do something on the TV.
Oh,
he
yeah,
wants
yeah.
to have the surround sound on for the TV and the stereo. He's like, he wants to be
Yeah.
able to listen to music while he's watching TV.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, Cal, why do you need? He's like, because I like to party or whatever.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, what a good movie. But speaking of houses and security, have you heard about what's going on right now with DK Metcalf?
No. Oh, did you see what happened with him and was it Shannon Sharp?
No.
They're beefing.
What?
I think it was Shannon Sharp.
It's so random.
Yeah, because do you remember that play against the not the Rams? What was the game after the Rams?
Steelers.
The Steelers, I think, where it went to overtime.
Yeah, the one where he
So-
caught the ball
and he
and
fumbled it?
instead of immediately going out of bounds,
Yeah.
he tried to run forward and he fumbled.
Yeah. So I think it was Shannon Sharp. I might be mistaken, but he tweeted at him. He was like, "That was a boneheaded play" or
It
something
was
like
so
that.
stupid. Yeah, I agree.
And then DK came back and like, bro, you just got to pull it up. Can we just pull this up real quick? Hold on.
Sure, yeah.
All right, go
I'm
ahead.
always-
What were you saying though about DK?
So DK Metcalf is currently in this thing right now with this OnlyFans model.
Oh God.
So
Stop it.
he hit her up trying to fuck. Keep in mind, everybody, DK Metcalf is a 23-year-old mega millionaire. You know, I think he's probably pretty immature, and he's also wildly successful, which is usually a horrible combination. I still love the guy, but this story is funny as fuck to me. So he hit up this OnlyFans model that apparently he had been sleeping with from time to time, and, you know, he messaged her wanting to have her come over, and so she lived like 2 hours away, so she's like, all right, I'm going to get in the car and drive over. I'll be there in like 2 hours. So he's like, all right. And then he calls her up, or he messages her. They're communicating on Snapchat. He messages her and goes, hey, turn around, like, don't come over. And she's like, what? I'm already an hour down the road. What the fuck? And he's like, yeah, it's going to be too late. Like, by the time you get here, it'll be too late. And she's like, all right. So then anyway, she starts heading back. Then he hits her up again, and he's like, actually, can you keep heading back over to my house because I'm trying to get these two girls at the bar and bring them back, and we're going to have a foursome.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I guess, like, while she's driving over there, he's still out, and he was trying to secure a four-way or
Oh
a
my
foursome with this woman. Yeah. So anyway, so this makes her angry because, one, she feels played, and then two, she just drove like an hour down the road for nothing. So she's like, let me tell you about DK Metcalf. I have his address. He has no security at his house. He literally just communicates with me over Snapchat, and he thinks that, like, I don't have a way of saving these messages. So she's like taking pictures with another phone of their chat, and she's like, I have his address. His home has no security. And I guess, like, she was threatening to, like, dox him, like, release all this shit about, like, where he lived and all this shit. I don't think she did, but it's just like he's in this saga with this. Oh, he's like, he didn't have me sign an NDA. So, like, basically DK Metcalf is
A
pretty
bonehead.
stupid
Yeah, it's
with the
just
way he's
boneheaded.
doing this. He just thinks he can
Just get away
do
with
whatever the
whatever
fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, like,
He kind of can.
and he kind of can. He's 23. He's one of the strongest, most athletic people on planet Earth. He's a mega millionaire, and it's like literally only up from here for him. So,
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
and the
honestly.
thing is that, but I mean, just the fact that his life is just like, no, actually turn around because let's have this four-way, you know? Like, that's just, and it probably works all the time. So he's probably having 5, 6, 7, 8 ways, you know? So, I mean, I just think it's crazy that, like, this dude has no security. He's just, like, handing out his address and
Yeah.
not making anyone sign NDAs so that she could technically put his address out there, and I don't think she'd be breaking a law. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
no.
So, which is crazy. You have to, and then that brings me over to LaMelo Ball.
Oh God.
LaMelo Ball. This, by the way, we're just like free balling. This is not the topic of today's podcast. We just have nothing really to talk about, so we're going to talk about everything. LaMelo Ball has apparently gotten an Instagram influencer pregnant, and she's basically put out some videos on Instagram, I think, saying, like, if you want to be rich, like, date a ball player. Like, this is the breakdown of how much he's going to have to pay me once I have this kid. Apparently, you know, he never signed a prenup or any sort of legal work. So if the amount of money based on his income that he would have to pay this woman, by the time this child is 18, LaMelo Ball will have paid this woman $43 million.
Jesus.
43. She didn't hit a fucking single layup. She doesn't have any rebounds, assists, no fucking, stats
Well, dude,
at all.
that's his.
43 million.
What is he thinking?
He's an idiot. One, if I was a ball player and I was single and I was just going to be like,
Just a player.
sleeping around. Yeah.
Magic
Bro,
Johnson
I would
style.
have a contract on a table at my front door. You literally could not come in unless you signed this fucking thing. And then there would be a glass of water and a Plan B pill on the way out. You know what I mean? I just think it's so crazy.
Yeah.
You would just make your way towards the door in the morning, and my butler would just be there with Plan B on a cloth napkin. Here you go, ma'am. And then the chauffeur will see you out.
Damn.
I just think it's so crazy that now he's stuck with 40.
Because ultimately, that is what he's doing with those girls. It may not be, glamorized or anything like that. He's literally, I'm sure half of those guys,
Right.
those young guys, are literally just sleeping around, just getting around,
Sure.
not caring, care in the world.
It's absolutely not the woman's fault at all.
Yeah.
It's 100% LaMelo's fault.
For sure.
You have to be smarter than this. But also, I also feel like there should be some legal framework in place that, it's not like a child costs more to take care of because the father is rich. Or because the mother is rich.
It is a good point. They really should just be paying whatever is necessary for them to
Right.
be able to just live a comfortable life. Not immediately make them rich or not just enough just to get them by, but just median range where they can at least go to school, have clothes, have food,
Correct.
and be a healthy life.
They should be able to be comfortable.
Be able to
with
have medical-
$43 million?
medical care. Yeah, yeah, it's insane. All right,
And-
let me show you what DK said real quick.
Yeah. Show me.
Well, I have it up real quick. All right, DK said, this is after that game where he fumbled. Shannon Sharp says, what was DK thinking? Why try to play hero ball in that situation? Here goes DK.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Stop questioning me, little boy. With with the little happy,
Damn.
with the laughing face. All right, here comes DK. Shannon comes back. Nothing to question. That was, quote, dumbass play, and your pride won't let you admit it. You can't question anything I've done. Pray your resume will be complete as mine. Pray. Enjoy the rest of your day. With the pray
hands
emojis. DK comes back. From the looks of it, I can wipe my ass with yours. I guess referring to his resume.
No.
And then he says, continue to gossip, you washed up, you wannabe. He says, continue to gossip, you washed up wannabe.
And that's not
And then
only
he said,
is
and then he comes back. DK says, "You know what? You're right." Laughing faces to Shannon Sharp. I do pray my resume can match yours. Work in progress, baby. That's what he says. So I don't know if that redeems him, but
I think he's just showing his immaturity,
Yeah.
and I really hope that's really unfortunate to see him be like that. I hope that as his career progresses, he becomes more mature and more respectful. Dude, he could have a lot to learn from Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp is a Hall of Famer, very successful player. That's a little embarrassing for him.
so he's out here wilding for real, dude. He's just,
Yeah, because he's out here having four ways and shit. He's gassed up, probably. He's in that new fucking Nike commercial or Under Armour commercial or whatever.
God. Yeah.
So, like I was saying, the whole concept of alimony and all that, it goes the other way too. If, let's say, okay, Adele. I don't know if she signed a prenup whenever she got married, but she's going through a divorce. Adele is loaded, and I'm pretty sure her former husband was just like a regular dude. So there's a chance that when they split, Adele has to pay him some ungodly sum of money for the rest of his life or whatever, because he's gotten accustomed to a certain way of living. I think that is so fucking insane. So it's not like I'm saying men just need to be protected from women in divorces. It's the other way around.
Sure.
Completely. I think no matter what your gender is, you should not be forced to pay someone some ungodly sum of money just because you're extremely successful.
This must go back, way back, as far as legal
has to.
terms. I wonder how far it goes back to where this was a thing back in the day.
Yeah.
Because what I'm thinking is if this was a thing back in the day, it would purely be because, work must have been hard to get, or I don't know, some complicated family issues where this would make sense. Okay, that would make sense back in the day. But today, where you have these ultra millionaires, these super wealthy people on a regular basis, just and then just having to give away all of what they
Like,
earned, and the spouse has nothing to do with it.
Fucking Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Okay. Not that I support Jeff Bezos. Not that I think anyone should be worth $200 billion.
And Bill
I
Gates
absolutely
too.
don't.
They
Yeah,
just
Bill
recently
Gates.
got divorced.
But when Jeff and Mackenzie Bezos got divorced, once again, no one should be able to be worth $200 billion. That shit is preposterous. But he had to give Mackenzie, I forgot how much he was worth at the time, but I know he ended up giving her like $60 billion. And I mean, at the time of, them getting divorced, that divorce made her the richest woman who has ever lived. The richest woman who has ever lived
Because of a
she got
divorce.
divorced.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It's so wrong,
Yeah.
and it's so insane that there has not been some sort of law or something put in place to prevent this from happening.
Yeah.
It's really sad. But anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what's happening with LaMelo Ball right now. Who's calling me? Oh, it's your brother. I told you this would happen. Aaron, if you're listening to this, bro, you should have picked up your phone earlier. I want you to watch me decline you. Aaron, I hope you're listening. So anyway, that's what's going on with athletes right now and the money and all that shit. I think it's crazy.
I mean, it's been like this for a long time. Like, this is nothing new. This is not
Yeah.
like LaMelo. Come on, there's playbooks written about this. Like, you should have. I mean, just go ask Magic Johnson. Go
I
ask
know.
all these people who've done
I
this
know.
way back in the day.
I think
But,
Paul George, didn't Paul George get a stripper pregnant?
Oh, I'm sure.
And he married her, I think. I think he ended up settling
Oh,
down with her. So that's pretty great.
that's
But
lovely.
But when it was happening, it was like a whole escapade. It is lovely. I'm sure they got a nice little home, and I'm sure it's very cool. Yeah, it's really crazy, man. I always wonder, like, if I was some like young athlete that was a high school phenom, and then a college phenom, and then a first round draft pick, and then a NFL phenom,
Dude.
would I just like, I like to think I'd remain the same type of person I am now, but after achieving such a high level of success and being pandered to for so long, do you think like it's just inevitable that you're gonna want everything like that you can have, and you're just gonna want to be able to sleep with a million women? And
I'll tell you, because there's plenty of athletes who don't do that. Like, Andrew Luck's a great
I
example.
knew you were gonna say that shit.
Because he's my boy, and he's a great example of it. He's one of
Drives
those
around in
guys.
his Honda
Exactly.
Accord with his 2 cats or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it didn't have like an iPhone, had a flip phone. You know what I mean? Like, there's those guys. They're out there for sure.
And Andrew Luck was like super phenom. Like when he was in
Yeah.
college, Stanford.
He's a legend.
Everyone, like, dude, he was coming on ESPN. They were doing segments on him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
for sure. I mean, yeah. And there's plenty of guys like that. But then, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about, with the college athletes being able to get paid now, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
Now you have guys who haven't even started a career yet. They're still in school.
Yeah.
And they're going to be making millions.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine anything good coming from this, bro.
I know.
Like, even if they're assigned financial advisors, even if they're assigned like counselors, people, here's how you manage it. Here's, make sure you don't do this, don't do that. Like, even in NFL, guys into their 30s are still having advisors talk to on a daily basis. I actually just had a guy on a podcast I work on who's like, that's his job. Like, he literally just sits down with players and talks to them about, their life and figuring out like what's the best, how to be a pro,
Right.
what's the best options to do, what not to do, and how to navigate, because it is complicated. And like, for any young athlete or any young person in general who doesn't know the ways of the world and how corrupt people can be, or just how to be smart about what you have, and like, dude, and then you're talking about college athletes, man. Like, come on, dude.
I know.
It's gonna be. I mean, great that it's great that it's happening. They deserve
they
to be
100% deserve to get paid.
because the NCAA is making a killing off of them.
And they're putting their body
So,
on the line. At any
yeah.
point in time, those dudes can have a life-altering injury, you know? So,
yeah. So, but it just you just think about the after effects, like what could happen and what will happen, and inevitably it will happen. Like, people will just blow all their money. They'll do some stupid shit. They'll
Right.
get into some trouble. Like, I mean, it's just gonna happen. So, it's just a matter of time. But yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, that's always sad to me to see, like, when these athletes have just blown their money. Or, oh, dude, speaking of that, Delonte West, former NBA player Delonte West, I think most of the people who know sports, especially basketball, are familiar with his story. He was in the NBA for a while, then his NBA career ended, he got really mixed up with drugs, and then he was living on the streets, and he was homeless. He had gone through all of his money, and recently a video just came out a couple days ago, I think, of him getting arrested, and he's clearly like cracked out. He's just talking nonsense, screaming about how he's the president and Biden is just a front, and like he's the actual president of the United States, and like then he was saying like he's God, and like he's just like screaming, and it's just really sad, and you never want to see that happen to anyone, but let alone like someone that had so much success and just like somehow just like everything took a wrong turn. You know what I mean? Like
I think it took a wrong turn when he slept with LeBron's mom.
LeBron ended him. LeBron said, "Oh yeah, fuck my mom. Your life's over." You really think he slept with LeBron's mother?
I have no idea, but it's just funny to think about someone trying to sleep with LeBron's mom.
I know. The fact that she did it, though. The fact that she was like, "Yeah, all right, let's go. Like, let's fuck."
Must have been at a
You're
party.
my son's teammate.
It's been like a party or something, and I don't know. He
Oh,
already
man.
sounds like a bonehead, you know.
His teammate. I think it happened.
Yeah, it would have been different if it was like someone on the other team. You know what I mean? Trying to get at him.
Yeah. And I forgot who it was. Some NBA player said, yeah, the only person in the NBA who didn't know that they were sleeping together was LeBron.
Damn.
I know. That's crazy.
Can you imagine?
That's crazy.
Damn.
Dude. Yeah, it's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts. So, I mean, like, one, Delonte he didn't deserve that. But I mean, fuck, do you think LeBron really, like, ended his career? I know he 100% got him traded off the Cavaliers.
For sure.
He got traded from the Cavaliers. I think from there he went to the Mavericks. Maybe the Celtics. I know he went to some other team. And then, like, slowly but surely, you just never heard about him again.
Yeah, just gone.
Now he's cracked out. Damn, that's rough.
Yeah, it's a sad story, honestly. Like, you'd hate to see anybody who had... But it goes to show that just because you're making millions of dollars, just because you're a successful athlete or successful at anything, in our eyes, in this capitalistic world where money and success, like money determines your success, and how high you're ranked up in society, determines like, and we all look at them like these are like the pinnacle. These are people we should aspire to. But like, that isn't always the case. Sometimes it can be. Sometimes those people. I mean, LeBron's a good example. Like somebody who gets that success, gives back,
Right.
becomes like you can tell he's
a
a
role
pretty good
model.
person. Like he's built schools and he's done amazing things like with that opportunity. And
Except for the China stuff. Other than the
yeah,
China
okay,
stuff.
yeah. That's on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Like there's definitely people like where that is a good thing, and you can really use that to do good in the world. But that's not the case for majority of the people, and they're just normal people trying to figure out what to do in life, and then you have all this money, and then you have all this crap, and you're like, what do I do with it? And then sometimes it can go downhill, man. So it's pretty crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. But I'm genuinely glad college athletes are getting paid. So I mean
it's cool.
That's really good for them.
It's cool.
Speaking of the China thing, have you been following this Enes Kanter China thing right now? So he's from Turkey, I believe, and he's Muslim. And I don't know if you're familiar with like the Uyghur situation in China, where they're like basically putting Muslims in almost like slave labor camps.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
And I think the Uyghurs,
Christians as well, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
But mainly it's this group of Muslims.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but I believe the name of the group is like the Uyghur people. They're Muslims, and I think they're from Turkey, which is where Enes Kanter is from.
Okay.
He is like full-fledged going at Nike right now, because all the pandering they do to China and all the shit they make in China, and he's been like tweeting at Phil Knight, the head of Nike, and he's like, I will buy us plane tickets right now. I want you to go to China with me and see what they're doing to these people, and like see what the Chinese government is doing. And he's like, he tagged Michael Jordan, he tagged LeBron. He's like, y'all come with us, like you need to see this shit. So anyway, he's just going off on social media, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens to him, because normally if you start to like fuck up relations with China for like a big money organization, you kind of get ostracized. Like the thing that happened with John Cena. John Cena mistakenly called Taiwan a country, which it should be. Taiwan is absolutely its own sovereign nation. But no, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, China,
Tom,
come
no.
listen to the Midnight Variety.
Tom, no, you
fuck
can't
this. Fuck China. Stand with the people of Hong Kong. Yeah, so he said this shit about Taiwan being a sovereign country. He didn't even he just mentioned it in passing. He was like, I think he just used the term Taiwan, whereas they want people to say Chinese Taipei or some shit like that.
Right.
But the studio made him apologize. The studio made John Cena apologize.
ESPN, right?
To China.
Was it?
Huh?
Was it ESPN? What studio?
Whoever was putting out the fucking Suicide Squad movie. Or no, it wasn't Suicide Squad. It was Fast and Furious. So whatever studio owns Paramount Pictures or fucking Warner
Paramount.
Brothers, I don't know, whatever
Okay.
big studio controls the Fast and Furious saga. They made him apologize. And so he goes on his Instagram or whatever, his social media, and he's apologizing to China for saying Taiwan, And it's so insane, like the level of pandering that people are willing to do when former Rockets GM Daryl Morey, mentioned standing with the people of Hong Kong against the the oppression of the government of China, and LeBron is like, whoa, hey China, he didn't mean to say that shit, and he was trying to get Daryl Morey fired. What the fuck have we come to, man?
Dude, so this goes into a deep, some crazy shit, because the shit that I recently learned about China and their relation with North Korea is disgusting.
Oh yeah, I
then,
learned about this too a lot through that episode of the Joe Rogan podcast with Yeonmi Park.
Yeah,
she was also on Jordan Peterson's podcast.
Yeah,
but dude, I was shocked to learn some of this shit.
The relation that China has with North Korea is disgusting. They're basically funding the entire country, but that and what's related to the U.S. is that they pretty much own Hollywood. China pretty much owns American Hollywood and has a shit ton of influence on our movies, on our culture that we don't see. You don't realize it. And there's so many other connections, like the slave labor that they're using to make all of these products that we use. There's so many things that are just behind the scenes. You know what movie does a great job of that? Is I think is it Us, or what's the other Jordan Peele movie? I think it's Us. The one where it's the underground.
Yeah, that's Us.
People living underground. Mm-hmm. Dude, because that has a great connection with because he's talking about. I heard him doing an interview about it, and he's like, it's a great way to look at the way the U.S. is, because US stands for U.S. and there's a lot of different connections that movie has. He goes so deep. Jordan Peele's awesome. But
it is a crazy movie.
Yeah, and but he goes deep into understanding okay, U.S. looks great from the outside, from just looking from the outside, just looking at it as what it is. It looks amazing. It looks great. We have so much prosperity and freedom.
Right.
Said that with quotation marks. Freedom, right? Because you just look at what's happening right now. People are apologizing for shit that isn't even real. Anyways, but understanding that the things we have are coming at other people's cost.
Right.
The things that we're able to experience and do in this life right now, being an American, is literally costing people's livelihoods. People are dying. People are experiencing an immense amount of suffering right now because we want to live a certain way. And China is probably one of the biggest reasons that's happening. But it's not all China's fault. Who's the consumers? Who's the buyers? And this is a whole other problem we have with drugs, with sex trafficking, with all these problems where you look at it from face value, yeah, that's evil and that's wrong. But then you look at, okay, who's the buyers? And you're like, oh shit. Okay, now we have to look at yourself. Look at where, you know what I mean? So it's it goes deep, and we should be looking at these things for what they really are, man. And China is an example of something that's really evil on this planet, dude. Really causing a lot of harm, a lot of suffering. And we got to look at what we are as consumers and what we're buying, what we're looking into, and who's influencing who's controlling what, and you just kind of follow that paper trail, figure out where the source is coming from.
Yeah.
And you look at where it's a lot of a lot of like the corruption in the world leading back to China. North Korea is probably it's probably hell on earth right now. It's probably the closest thing there is to hell on earth on this planet.
Yeah,
and China
I mean,
is responsible for that. So
Dude,
it's like, how can you support anything that China supports?
the fact that the world has not intervened on what's happening in North Korea. I knew North Korea was bad.
Yeah,
But when
I
I
did
heard
too.
about how bad, it's almost not even conceivable. It almost seems like not satire, but like hyperbole. It doesn't even sound like some shit that should be humanly possible. I mean, just like people eating the dead, and then like rats eating the people that die from eating the dead, and just like rats feasting on dead bodies in the street, and you know, the government agents coming around and killing you if there's dust on your picture of the leader. You know, like the fact that the entire world knows that this is happening, and we are not currently like flying jets over there to stop it.
Yeah, here's
Now, but I also say that, you know, I want to say that there's also been a lot of times where I'm like, the United States should not have to play world police. Like, I don't like that we jump in all these like foreign issues that have nothing to do with us. But I don't know. There's things like this where it's like someone has to intervene, but it can't just be us. It has to be the whole world. The fact that the whole world isn't coming together to stop this.
it's a crime against humanity.
Yes, it's a crime against humanity. It's an abomination.
Yeah.
And when I heard that when people escape from North Korea to China, and China fucking returns them back to North Korea.
And you know how they return them? By freaking hooking them up with chains,
Yes.
like some type of like chains where it goes through their skin.
Like cattle, not even...
Yeah, like cattle, like how you see the cattle like
Right.
get attached with ears, like
Yes.
whatever, like literally just like cattle, attaches them all with like some type of chain or wiring, and then brings them all like that together. Like, it's insane, dude. It's insane to think about it's happening.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
And then, like, it's not like North Korea is just living under some like dictatorship where they're just like the people don't have really any power, but they're still able to live and still able to eat.
Yeah,
no.
it's not like, oh, they just don't have internet and they're taught that their leader is the greatest. No. It's not that.
No.
It's like you can have one of 10 haircuts, and if you get a different haircut out of that 10, they come and chop your head off.
Yeah.
And there's no money. They use like a dialect of their language that has no word for I. Everything is we.
Yes.
There's no word for love.
Yes.
There's like, it's fucking insane.
It's insane.
If
man.
you have to have all these pictures of Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un in your house, and if like there's dust on one of them, they come and fucking murder your whole family. And then if you do something bad, like trying to leave or something, not only do they murder your whole family, they like murder your whole bloodline. They kill your whole generation.
Multiple generations.
Yeah, multiple generations. Yeah.
They'll wipe out your entire
And
DNA
like,
existence.
and then like before they kill the women of the family, they just like rape them and like turn them into, you know, just like a human.
Yeah,
I don't even want to get into it because it's so fucking horrific, and the whole world knows that it's happening.
Yeah.
But China especially,
Yes.
because China is financing it.
Yes.
They are being proponents of it by returning people into this system.
Yes.
But China is such a scary entity because they have the largest military the world has ever seen. They have the largest economy. They have, you know, I know like we spend more on defense than them, and we have a larger Air Force. We have a larger Navy. We have all that shit. But the amount of people, I think they have a 20 million man military.
It's something preposterous.
20 million.
Yeah.
I think look this up for me real quick. Find out how many people are in the United States military, and then find out how many people are in the Chinese military. I'm almost positive the Chinese military is about 20 million people, which is fucking insane. All right, we are awaiting results here.
Oh my God, these pictures.
It's crazy, right?
Total manpower, China. Yeah, China has by far the world's largest military with 2 million active personnel. That was in 2019.
Okay.
The Pentagon's budget request for the next financial year says there are around 1.35 million active U.S. military personnel and 800,000 in its reserve.
Mm-hmm.
So, ground force, U.S. standing ground with 915,000 active duty troops.
950,000?
That's what it says.
Wow, damn. Okay, it's more than I thought.
Yeah, I
More
mean,
than
I guess
thought,
that
bro.
gives you a good idea of.
And China's about 2 million?
Yeah.
All right, so their military is about double the size of ours,
Yeah.
personnel-wise. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So that
okay,
gives you a
I'm
good idea
relieved
what that
because in
is.
my head I'm sitting here thinking 20 million. I guess I just carried a zero on accident. My bad for the misinformation. But okay, I'm glad we looked it up so I didn't keep
But
saying
that was
for
2019, so I'm sure it's a little bit bigger
Yeah,
now.
oh, shit by now with the way they fucking spread. So anyway,
Yeah, China's probably the world leaders as far as like total power, right? Like you would think like
I don't know. Their Navy and their Air Force like doesn't even come close to comparing to ours. And
Right.
naval and air superiority are extremely important in winning
yeah.
war. I mean,
I'm
like,
not
our
talking about
Navy
purely.
is-
I'm not talking about purely military, but also like financially, like the amount of like.
I don't know. I mean, their country might have a stronger economy than ours, right? I don't really know what their economy. In terms of defense spending, we spend way more than them. Like we dedicate more money to military power than they do. We spend more than them and Russia combined.
Right.
So power-wise, I'm not really concerned. It's just personnel-wise. But the other problem is that they're allied with Russia.
Right.
So if you were to take on China, now you're fighting China and Russia. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. It's like them with Russia, Iran. Like they have multiple allies that are nuclear players, you know?
Right.
But then no one wants to go to war with them because their economy is so deeply rooted in, you know, the way the rest of the world makes money. So I don't know. And now we've become so reliant on their manufacturing and their, you know what I mean? Like
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like they virtually like, almost own us in a way like that. Like if they were to stop giving us goods today, I feel like the U.S. would just go into some
I don't know
crazy
what would
spiral.
happen,
like it would be
Yeah.
insane, right? Because we rely on them so heavily on so many products, on so many different things that
Yeah.
if they were to just immediately back out and say nope, no more, then, but they do make so much money on us. I feel like, yeah, in a way they almost own us. So I don't know.
I don't know.
And
either.
which would make sense that it, you know, that because why would they have such a huge influence on our Hollywood, on our sports, on all of these things? Like why do we need to give them what they want? Like, oh yes, let's make sure we apologize to China. Like why?
It's
You know what I'm saying? What's
Top
the reason?
Gun in the new fucking Top Gun movie, Top Gun 2 or Top Gun Maverick, whatever the fuck it's called, the new Top Gun movie. Tom Cruise's character Maverick has a leather jacket, and it commemorates some conflict, or you know, it's some sort of commemorative jacket, and it has a bunch of flags on the back. And one of the flags that was visible in like the initial trailer was the flag of the country of Taiwan. They had to fucking change the jacket for the movie. I don't know if they went in and like CGI'd it out or if they like went in and filmed the rest of the movie with a different jacket. But the Taiwanese flag is no longer on that jacket that will be seen in the movie. Bro,
But that's another example of Hollywood
that's crazy.
trying to project something or trying to do something that isn't true for another country. It's
Yeah.
not like this is another movie or something like, oh, this
Right.
movie wouldn't make sense if it didn't align with this other film or something, or it doesn't have there's no reason.
Yeah.
There's no reason
It's
other than
it's so insane.
China saying we don't like that, take it off.
Yep.
Why would we listen to them? Why should we listen to them?
I mean, in an ideal, perfect world, we absolutely shouldn't. I would.
So it's like, what is happening?
Fuck, dude. I wish we could just cut all ties with China. I wish the world could just like turn their back on them. And I wish they could just be like froze out. And you're like, you want to act like this? All right, well, none of us are going to do business with you. You know, I wish like there was a way we could just, if you're going to commit crimes against humanity, the world should just be able to cut off ties with you. But now everyone is so fucking dependent on them. You know,
Yeah.
dude, it's a horrible situation. And dude, Xi Jinping, the leader of China, bad dude, man.
Yeah, I've seen some of his quotes,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, not someone you want to mess with, that's for sure.
And like he outlawed Winnie the Pooh in China
Oh,
because
dude,
people were
okay.
comparing him to said he looked like Winnie the Pooh.
The amount of things that are banned in China, What, the letter N?
Oh yeah.
Aren't letters banned
I
there?
think that there's like there's a list of like really
Dude.
weird shit that's banned.
Dude, tons of different internet sites.
Religion in general, right?
I don't know. I think so, dude. The list is just.
I could be wrong.
The list goes on for days, like the amount of things that are banned there.
I think you can't be Christian there. Right?
Justin Bieber, like random celebrities, and
It's probably because Justin Bieber said something about China on accident one time when he was 13.
I'm sure that's what it
Yeah.
is. I'm sure it's just something that he said. Now you're banned. You're banned.
Think about what does that mean for like the mental
Okay.
state of their leaders? Are they all just like mentally 12? And they're like, you talk bad about me, banned. You know, like
But dude, that's what I think, and I'm scared that some of those things are crossing over into the U.S. And that's why I feel like
they are, dude.
the influence, and I'm talking about like the influence that China has. I
Yeah.
feel like banning things, the act of just banning something, banned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Illegal.
Item 9.
Illegal. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, it just sounds so preposterous, and now it's becoming like a norm in a way. You know, the baby, he said something about gay people,
You're gone.
banned.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, come on, like, I don't know. So it's really interesting to think about. But
You're either gonna fucking apologize hard as fuck and look like you mean it, or
Yeah.
you're gone. Yeah.
it's wild, man.
It's so crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know. You should try really hard to be a nice person, and you know, if it's, you shouldn't. I don't know. I don't want to say you shouldn't offend people because people find everything offensive. So it's
I mean,
like,
just look at the new Dave Chappelle skit, or the
Oh
new
my
Dave
God, the
Chappelle,
Dave Chappelle
comedy
thing is
on Netflix.
really crazy.
And it's a masterpiece, piece of work, like a beautiful like performance that he put on, which
the closer
hilarious.
is possibly my favorite of his Netflix specials.
He's a legend, a living comedy legend.
Of our generation, probably the best.
And he's out here, like, just, I mean, putting the stage on fire, dude. Like, he's just so good at what he does.
Yeah.
So funny. So, like, I mean, God, I love him. I can't say enough, like, about him because.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing.
And then, so you have someone doing this, right? Doing his job, like, doing what he does best, making people laugh, just being funny. And then you have this other side of it, right? Where you have to be PC.
Yeah.
You have to make sure you just, make sure you just try not to offend these people, okay?
Right.
Okay, Dave, just make sure you don't, just try not to use the word transgender. Just stay away from that topic,
Right.
Dave. You've said enough, blah, 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 whatever, all of the little things I'm sure people try to tell him, or he can and can't do because you might offend somebody. And then you have all these people rising up saying this and that, and it's like, can you just, like, look at it for what it is? It's comedy.
Yeah.
And that's bleeding over into so many other things into our life, just in a normal conversation. Like, you can't say a certain thing, or
You're
it's
so
like,
scared that something you
Yeah.
might, like, you're thinking about how to word stuff and say stuff because something you might say might come off as offensive, and your life gets altered because you said something in the wrong way, or like, dude, it's so crazy, and it's such a scary road to start going down. Granted, you should treat everyone with respect, no matter their fucking sexual orientation or
100%.
gender identity or religion or race, whatever. You should absolutely go into every interaction with anyone and try and be respectful.
And who disagrees with that? Like, there's very few people that
Yeah.
will disagree with that,
Right.
right? And then the people who are, like, breaking those rules I guarantee most of those people don't mean it. They're not meaning to hurt anyone's feelings. They're not trying
And
to
it's
actively.
comedy.
Yeah.
It's fucking comedy. Shit, Dave Chappelle makes fun of black people more than anything, and like you don't see the black community getting offended, or white people. Dave Chappelle's been fucking making jokes about white people for 30 years.
That was one of his big points on
Yeah.
that set. He was like, "Look, it's all about the white people."
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
hilarious, dude. It's
for real.
It's fucking
The tiki
funny.
torch
The
whites.
tiki torch whites.
But it's just like, it's just so interesting that we're now at this point where your whole life could be ended over like a joke. Kevin Hart, okay? Kevin Hart, had his dream of hosting the Oscars. That was his dream, to one day host the Oscars. And it was literally taken away from him like a couple days before the Oscars because of a joke that he had made in the past.
Preposterous.
Think about that.
Preposterous.
It's so fucking crazy, dude. So
And he's a
fucking crazy.
comedian.
Yeah.
Comedians are the one people who should have the right to say whatever they want to say,
Yeah.
as long as it's in a joke form, as
Yeah.
long as it's in a comedic form.
If he's getting up there and saying it during now, if someone obtained like a voicemail of him saying some shit to like someone in a private conversation where he said like, you know, one group of people is worth less than another group of people, then yeah, obviously that's super not fucking okay. But if it's part of a comedy routine, I'm sorry. Once that fucking mic turns on, now it's a comedy routine and all bets are off, you know? Dude, it's
but I'm really happy we have people like Dave Chappelle.
Dude, he's not backing down at all.
Good for him. I'm so happy for him and that he stands up. Like, he's one of those people. And then the big thing, like, what really said a lot about his character was the thing he went through with Comedy Central with not taking that money.
Right.
So that he could still have the right to do what he wanted to do.
Creative control, yeah.
Yeah, and from backing away with that amount of money, and then it really says a lot about his character and like who he is. He's like, look, I just want to do what I think is funny, what I see in my world and what I'm going through, and want to put it out on and let everyone see for what it is. And it's like, it's a beautiful thing to see because he's not being influenced. He's not letting other people influence him. He's just going to be himself.
Right.
And it's such a refreshing thing to see, especially in today's age where you just see so much. People just want to control. They just want they just want to have control over what people do and say. And it's like, thank God for Dave Chappelle. Oh, man, for real.
Did you see his 3 demands that he issued, or not his 3 demands, but his 3 conditions that he put out? He was like, I will give the transgender community an audience. Like, I'll meet with them and we can discuss this, but I'm not going to be summoned. Like, you're not going to fucking tell me.
Yeah.
He's like, I have 3 conditions. I will gladly, you know, have a conversation with y'all. But rule number 1, you have to listen to my special from beginning to end. You will not like meet with me unless you've listened to the entire thing from beginning to end.
So important.
Second, it'll be at a place and time of my choosing. I'm not going to be summoned by y'all, you know, like. And then third, you have to admit that Hannah Gadsby isn't funny. I don't know if you know who Hannah Gadsby is.
No, I don't.
But she's like one of the top people. She's a comedian.
Wait, was that the girl he was talking about during his set? One of his friends that ended up committing suicide? Or
No.
Okay.
That would be fucking hilarious. But no, that's not who he was talking about. That was a great part of that special.
Yeah.
But no, Hannah Gadsby is I shouldn't put comedian in air quotes, but I do because she doesn't really do stand-up comedy in the way I think of it. She tells like these organized rants that have comedic undertones.
I know what you're saying.
But Dave Chappelle kind of does that now.
Yeah.
Like Dave Chappelle's stand-up now is way different from the way he used to do stand-up.
sure.
Now it feels like he does like these like rants or like these talking points or this like agendaed conversation that he makes really funny.
Yeah.
Hannah Gadsby, I guess, kind of does like the same style of stand-up, but she's like one of the main people. She is
She's trans?
woman. No, her pronouns are she, her. I believe she identifies as a woman.
Okay.
But she's queer, which I think is the appropriate word to use. Don't cancel me. I think I'm trying really hard here right now.
That's the Q, I think, in the LGBTQ.
She is maybe non-binary. I think she's okay with not being. She might be gender fluid.
Okay.
She might be non-binary.
Sure.
She might also identify as a woman. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to like. All right.
Yeah, he's trying to understand.
Anyway, she has been like one of the not like I don't want to say like front runners, but she has been a big
Like
proponent
spokesperson?
of like Dave Chappelle's things not being okay. You know, and she's like, I deserve to like work at Netflix in a safe environment and not feel threatened or whatever, yada yada yada. And so Dave Chappelle's like, if you want to talk with me and meet with me, you have to admit Hannah Gadsby isn't funny, which is just like a funny fucking quip, but also then she fired back on Twitter about like, how dare you use my name, and like now you've made me the target of even more hate, and I'm even more unsafe.
Stop
now.
Stop it.
It's so crazy. It's the word I've never hated the word safe and unsafe more than I have. And like,
my God.
It's so. And then Dave Chappelle was like, you know, you're talking about an unsafe work environment. The last time I checked, I'm the only person that can't come to the office at Netflix right now. You know,
Seriously, man.
like he literally, I think he cannot go up to the Netflix office now.
God.
And then there was that walkout. It's so crazy. People walked
What's
out.
happened to the world?
People
man?
walked out of Netflix because Ted Sarandos, the guy who's the head of Netflix, he's the CEO. He stuck by Dave Chappelle and then the walkout happened, and then he came back and like apologized.
Oh my god!
He came back and was like, "You're right." He was like, "I should have realized the way this special would make people feel unsafe or whatever." Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's
And
so frustrating,
I know,
man.
It's so insane. And then the Dave Chappelle movie that he's trying to get made about George Floyd. You know,
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle is trying to put out this documentary about the life and death of George Floyd.
Yeah.
But now, since this whole controversy and since he's become such a controversial figure, he said movie studios won't touch it, TV networks won't touch it, and it's like this amazing movie can't get put out,
Dude, you know
or
what?
made.
Yeah, you know what? Someone told me recently was like the LGBTQ community like does have a lot of influence. I don't know who it is. Like some people, like I don't know if there's like prominent, you know, entertainment people who represent the LGBTQ community and have like a lot of influence in that field, Hollywood, movies, all that stuff, where like that's why these things are able to happen, is because there are people up in higher up positions who support this, and if anyone stands up or goes out against it, whatever they think is going against it, right? It's not necessarily if they have to. If they just say one or wrong thing, and then the community gets behind that and they say, well, yep, now we can't allow them to be making any movies in this industry anymore. And so now they have control over a lot of those things. So it's like it would be different if like it was a small group of people like the LGBTQ community and they didn't like one person, but that person was still able to put out their work, still able to make a living, do what they wanted to do, you know. But now it's like, okay, now these people have higher up positions, and if they don't like somebody, now they can say, yeah, we do or don't want to make a movie with you anymore.
Yeah.
So isn't that crazy? Think about like that can happen. So that makes perfect sense that Dave Chappelle, he's trying to do a movie, and it's going to be really hard for him to find work now because all of these people are just going to align with this certain agenda and say, yeah, we agree with you. There's no gray area. It's either black or white, and it's
and it's a movie that is about someone who a year and a half ago, the entire country was celebrating the life of and protesting in the streets over the wrongful death. It's a movie about George Floyd, a man whose story needs to be told, and like the entire country was behind George Floyd after his wrongful death. But now, because Dave Chappelle has made these comments that the world has deemed unacceptable, this movie about George Floyd can't get made.
Dude, we're living in a South Park episode, bro.
Yeah, we really are.
This is like it's hilarious that people take this so serious. When it's a joke, it's a joke. It's a joke. Just laugh. Just laugh. Break away all of the barriers, all of the defense that you have around yourself.
Yeah.
Let it go. Just laugh. Let the man live. This man is just trying to make people laugh. He's just trying to spread humor and spread smiles, man. He's not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. I think it's very rare that anyone's trying to hurt anyone's feelings. And if those people are out there, then yeah, it's pretty obvious to know when you see an asshole. I've met assholes, and you pretty much know who they are when you see them. Dave Chappelle's not an asshole.
No.
Okay,
and like
a
everyone
lot of these
who
guys
knows
really
Dave
aren't.
Chappelle will say the same thing. Like I know I talk about Joe Rogan a lot. I'm not some huge fucking Joe Rogan stan, but Joe Rogan was saying like, I know Dave Chappelle. I've known him for a long time. He is absolutely not some sort of hateful person who looks down on anyone. Like he's not a bad guy, and y'all putting him in this box because of some shit he said in his comedy routine is unfair to him and just also unfair in general, you know? But it's not the whole world, you know? There's
definitely plenty of people who think similar to us.
There's loads of people that accept comedy for comedy.
For sure.
I don't know if you know who Andrew Schultz is.
Yeah.
The stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
A lot of his comedy is he'll just stand up there and he'll just do crowd work. And he'll just roast the fuck out of the crowd. Or he'll just talk. And like the people are sitting there getting targeted personally.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there laughing. Like I watched one routine where he stood up there and there was an albino guy in the front row. And for like 15, 20 minutes, he's just like talking to this albino guy. And he's like, how long do y'all fucking live? Like 30, 40 years? Like, no, I don't know. Do you guys have a short life? And he's just like talking about albinism with this albino guy. And the dude is sitting there like laughing and having a good time. And it's like, so there is hope. There is like...
Yeah, I actually just went to a comedy show fairly recently, and it was really funny. There was like at least 4 or 5 different comedians. They all had completely different sets, and the last girl was on there, and I think she was gay. I'm pretty sure she was gay because she was like hitting on this girl the whole time in the stands, like, or in the crowd. It was so funny. She was like, I got my strap on in the car in the back, just like, cause like this girl, it was hilarious. She was really funny, but she had the very similar routine, just like roasting people in the crowd, and it was really funny because, like, no one was offended, no one took anything to heart. Everyone was just having a wonderful time. And it was so refreshing to see.
Right.
It was so refreshing to see, like, these people come up and talk, because I haven't been to a comedy set or a show in a long time, and so for me it was like really cool to see, because I just haven't experienced something like that in a while, especially during COVID and everything, and to see it happen like live and be there, like, I guarantee you, if a majority of those people were there at the show, in the crowd, anyone who feels offended or anything like that, and you were actually there at the crowd, it would be completely different than just watching a clip of it on YouTube or a clip of it on whatever you watch, Instagram, whatever.
Yeah.
Because you're being engaged in it. Like, you're there, you're in the same room as this dude, and like, you're gonna feel differently, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just different when you're actually there. And now we have Netflix, where it's just like, you can just go on and watch 2 minutes of it and turn it off. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I don't know, it's just different.
Well, yeah, I think we should all just strive to be as open and accepting to comedy and humor and each other as possible. And I think, unfortunately, I have to wrap up because
let's wrap it up, man.
Pat just texted me that he got here. But I think
we're gone for an hour, so it's perfect timing.
I think that was something really good to talk about. So, yeah, until next time, folks, laugh at jokes because jokes are funny. Make sure you hold people accountable that actually need to be held accountable, like China and the government of North Korea.
Yeah, not Dave Chappelle.
And your political leaders that are fucking you in the ass every day. And also go watch Dune because it's fucking great. And it's,
oh yeah, we should have talked about that a little bit.
Next week we'll talk about, go see it before our next episode, and then we'll talk about Dune because it's really fucking amazing. Go see Dune, and if you can, go see The Rescue, which is a documentary directed by Jimmy Chin and his wife. I forgot her name, unfortunately. I'm sorry, but it's about those boys who played for that Thai soccer team that got trapped in that cave. Oh, hello. And
I didn't hear about that story.
Oh, I'll tell you about it after this. But yeah, if you are familiar with the story of the boys that were trapped in the cave in Thailand, go see the documentary The Rescue. It goes way deeper into the story than I ever knew, and it's an amazing story. Stay safe out there in the cosmos, folks. Have a great weekend.
Peace, y'all.